And a happy Independence Day to you all. Dark Shadows, number 16, VTR 7466, airs 7/18/66. Is it 18? Take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. The dark voices of fear are part of the strange world on top of Widow's Hill. Here in the great house that is now my home, I've listened to their murmurs and trembled at their approach. And now tragedy has almost come, and the hidden echoes of the past are moving closer and closer.
Hello? No, this is Miss Winters. Well, she's upstairs with David right now. If you like, I'll... All right. Oh, yes. Yes. Well, is there any place she can reach you, Mr. Malloy? Yes, I'll tell her. Goodbye.
Was that the doctor?
No, it was Mr. Malloy. He wanted me to tell you again that your brother's going to be all right.
It's been a nightmare.
It could have been much worse. Just a few bruises and a cut on his forehead. That's pretty lucky considering the kind of accident it was.
I'm not sure it was an accident.
You really don't think it was an accident?
All I know is that a man came to town. A man my brother thought had reason to hate him. And a few days later, this happened. What else did Mr. Malloy have to say?
He said to tell you that the brakes definitely did fail on the car.
He was sure of that.
Yes. He also said that after he took Mr. Collins to the doctor, he wanted to check some more, and then he'd talk to you after that.
Dr. Reeves?
Yes. Mrs. Stoddard, there's nothing any of us can do. You know that. Nothing but wait.
Wait. Seems I've been doing that all my life.
But your brother wasn't seriously hurt.
This time, Miss Winters. Not this time. But what about tomorrow? Or the next day?
Do you really think Burke Devlin had something to do with it?
I think it's strange that Mr. Devlin came to the house this evening for the first time in 10 years. They had invited Roger to some bar. That he knew Roger would be driving down the hill.
No, but...
You yourself said you saw him in the garage looking at Roger's car.
Yes. It's so hard to believe that he would deliberately try to kill Mr. Collins.
When someone has lived with anger, bitterness, and hate, they're capable of anything.
But Carolyn said he seemed so friendly.
Carolyn is a child, Miss Winters. She sometimes only sees what she wants to see. Yes, Mr. Devlin was friendly on the surface. He smiled and laughed and said the past was gone and forgotten. Then he invited Roger to meet him at the Blue Whale. Hello. Oh, Roger, thank heavens. Are you all right? Oh, I've been so terribly worried. What did the doctor say? Oh, good. How did it happen, Roger? Yes, I know the car went off the road, but how? All right. We'll talk about it later. Goodbye.
Is he all right?
Yes, thank heaven. Roger has driven his car down the hill from this house hundreds of times. Hundreds. And nothing has ever happened before. Not until Bert Devlin invited him to drive into town to meet him.
You like my selection, Miss Stoddard?
Love it.
We aim to please, especially when it only costs a quarter. Now, don't you think we can drop this Mr. Devlin, Miss Stoddard business? Joe, Carol, and Bert. Okay with you?
Just grand.
Okay with you, Joe?
Joe.
I'm just trying to figure out why we started out to go to a movie and ended up here at the Blue Whale.
Ever try to figure out a woman, Joe? It's a waste of time.
What do you say, Carolyn? Want to dance? It's a pretty good number.
Joe, I just want to sit here and talk.
You're
Okay?
wasting your time, Joe. When a woman wants to talk, you've had it.
I don't remember asking you, Mr. Devlin.
Bert, we agreed on that, remember?
Didn't you say you had an appointment with someone?
Yes. Yeah, right here, with her uncle, Roger Collins. But he seems to be a little late. Right now, I really can't say that I'm sorry. Oh, you can leave them all here. He just went to make a phone call. I think that jukebox needs another quarter.
Please don't bother.
I thought you liked that beat.
Sometime.
What do you like?
Does it really matter?
Well, you like Joe Haskell, for one.
He's okay.
He's more than that, Carolyn. He's a nice kid. Hard-working, ambitious, feet planted on the ground. A real solid citizen.
Who'll probably spend the rest of his life right here in Collinsport.
Is that so bad?
Would you have stayed?
Carolyn, I didn't have a choice. I had to leave.
Why?
Why don't you ask your uncle? He'll tell you.
Why can't you?
Maybe I want you to ask him. Never thought of that?
Okay. Maybe I will.
I wonder what happened to him.
Maybe he changed his mind.
Now I phoned the house. Your mother said he'd already left.
Maybe he went to the hotel.
Now I checked that, too.
You're just tired of sitting with me.
That's not true. But if I were, there are no chains tying me to this chair.
That's it. That's it, exactly.
Come again?
Well, the difference between you and, well, between you and other people I know. You live the way you want to. No chains, no rules. You know what you want out of life. And you do something about it.
So does Joe. He wants to own his own fishing boat, and he's working for that. He wants to marry you, and he's working for that, too.
Sure he is. But I'll bet if you wanted someone, you'd go to the house, hit her over the head, and drag her out.
Is that what you want, Carolyn? To be dragged out of Collinwood?
I don't know. It's just the trouble. I don't know what I want.
Well, I just checked the movie house in Logansport. We still have time to make the last show.
Joe, if I asked you to hit me over the head and drag me out of Collinwood, what would you do?
And say you were nuts?
Still have that quarter?
Going right up.
What was that all about?
You wouldn't understand. Oh, come on, Joe. I don't feel like a movie tonight.
Look, Carolyn, what is it with you and that character?
Nothing. He's waiting for my Uncle Roger. I thought it would be nice if we waited with him.
I know it's late, Matthew, but it's important. I'll be waiting in the kitchen. Fine. you know that Matthew was almost killed on that very same spot where Roger's car went off?
I know, he told me. It was the brakes then, too, wasn't it?
Yes. It was 17 years ago, almost a year after he started to work here. And the one thing, Miss Winters, the one thing that Matthew's been especially careful about ever since is that the brakes function on every car that belongs to this house.
Maybe he was careless this time.
That's what I intend to find out. How is David?
Asleep. At least his eyes were closed when I went in.
Poor child. Probably the worst thing I could have done to him was to have Roger bring him here, to grow up in this house.
Would you like some tea?
This is no place for young people. It's old and decaying and smells of death.
Carolyn seems to have managed.
Do you think so? Do you really think so?
She's a wonderful girl, Mrs. Stoddard.
I've been so worried about it. And now this Devlin business. I'm a strong woman, Miss Winters. But if anything happened to Carolyn, I think I'd die.
I'm sure she'll be just fine.
She must. She has to be.
Where's Mrs. Stoddard?
Oh, Matthew, you startled me.
She said she wanted to see me.
She's upstairs. She'll be right down.
Do you know why she wanted to see me?
I think Mrs. Stoddard better tell you that.
Has anything happened? Is she all right?
She's fine. She just had a headache. She went up to get some pills.
Oh, I'm sorry I took so long, Mrs. Stoddard, but I'd gone to bed.
Matthew, when was the last time you checked my brother's car?
What's that, ma'am?
Mr. Collins' car. You've been seeing to it that it's properly serviced, haven't you?
Has he been complaining, ma'am?
Just answer my question.
Mrs. Stoddard, begging your pardon, but if Mr. Collins don't like the way I attend his car, why don't he come to me instead of bothering you?
You don't like my brother very much, do you?
No, ma'am.
Do you dislike him enough to harm him?
Only if he was causing trouble for you. Now, maybe you might want to throw me out of here, but I wouldn't care if it was Miss Winters or your brother or who it was if they start... What do you mean, harm?
Mr. Collins' car went off the road, about the same place yours did.
When?
Less than an hour ago. The brakes failed.
Was he hurt?
No, not badly.
But you're thinking that
I'm not thinking anything. I just want to know how well you took care of that car.
Who said it was the brakes?
That's the report I got, Matthew.
Were they sure?
Reasonably sure.
When were they last checked?
Mrs. Stoddard, I'm telling you the truth. I don't like your brother very much, but I don't want you thinking I tampered with his brakes, because I didn't.
What makes you say someone tampered with them?
The garage checked those brakes only 2 days ago.
Then they were working 2 days ago.
Perfectly. And if those brakes failed so soon, it's because somebody was fooling around with them.
My ideal. I mean, the ideal evening. I just don't think you're being fair, that's all.
I'm having a good time. Can't you let it go at that? Want to dance?
Oh, I don't mind if I do. Oh, I'm too old for that.
Oh, come on. I'll show you how.
No, the last time you gave a demonstration, Joe punched your partner in the eye.
You're not afraid of Joe, are you? He thinks you might throw a punch at him.
I just might.
You know, I think you mean that.
All right, honey, we getting out of this place or not?
Are you going to stay?
I asked you, not him.
You don't have to be so rude about
Hey,
it.
hey, take it easy. Don't you two start throwing punches at each other. As a matter of fact, I'm tired of waiting around for Roger. So I'm just going to pack up and move on, okay?
Okay, Joe, we'll go to the movies. What are you going to do?
Oh, I don't know. Walk around town, probably go back to the hotel.
Why don't you come to the movie with us?
Oh, Carolyn, for Pete's
Well,
sake.
it's early, isn't it? Why should Bert have to go back to the hotel room and spend the whole evening there by himself when he could come
Well, if
to
you're
a
that
movie?
worried about it, why don't you go up with him and keep him company?
Maybe that's just what I will do.
Lots of luck.
Get your coat.
Did you hear the way he talked to me?
Yes, I did. Put your coat on. Let's go.
Where?
We're going to go try and find Joe.
Joe, I've no intention of looking
We're
for Joe.
not going to sit here. We're going to go and try and find him.
If we can't, then what?
We'll solve that problem when we get to it.
Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Stoddard. I'm sorry, I can't talk to reporters now. Well, there isn't very much I can tell you. Just a moment, please. Go in the drawing room. I'll be right in. Oh, perhaps it would be better if we talked tomorrow.
Have you seen the car?
Yeah.
What's it look like?
The whole side of the car's caved in. It's a miracle he didn't get killed.
Were there many people there?
Well, ma'am, there was the photographer from the local paper and Jim Hardy from the constable's office. He was making out a report.
Did you have a chance to look at the car?
Not close, ma'am. See, that photographer started asking me questions. And I figured if I went and looked and saw something, it was none of his business.
I think they're going to make it their business. Another reporter just called me.
What did you tell him?
The truth. I had nothing to tell him. And I don't want any of this to be told to reporters or anyone else until I have a chance to talk to Mr. Collins.
What about the police?
We'll see. All we have is a suspicion. Probably nothing they can prove.
Who do you think did it?
I don't know. That doesn't matter now.
Well, if he started in to try...
I said it didn't matter. Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew, but this is our affair, and I want to keep it that way, at least for now.
It's cold in here. I'll fetch a little more wood.
Thank you, Matthew. Shall we have our tea?
I think if you'd been in that car, Matthew would go right to Burke Devlin's hotel room and strangle him.
Will you answer that, please?
Hello? Just a moment. It's a reporter.
Tell him I can't talk to anybody now. Tell him he can call back tomorrow.
Mrs. Stoddard says she can't talk to anyone now, but she suggests that you call back tomorrow. I'm sorry. I never thought an automobile accident would be such important news.
We're important news, Miss Winters. Our family. Do you know what movie Carolyn was going to? I'd like to get in touch with her before she hears about this.
I don't think she was going to a movie.
Well, Joe said something about...
Well, she changed her mind. She said she wanted to go someplace else.
Where?
I think she went to the Blue Whale.
Are you sure?
That's what she said to Joe, that she wanted to go there.
But she promised, they both promised they'd never go there again. Did she know Burke Devlin was going there?
Yes, I suppose so.
Is that why she wanted to go?
I don't know. I really don't think it's anything to worry
Well,
about.
I think it's a great deal to worry about. Did she or did she not go to the Blue Whale because Burke Devlin was there?
Yes, I suppose she did.
Then why didn't you tell me this sooner?
Because I didn't think it was that important.
Miss Winters, you don't know Carolyn, not really. She's reaching out for something. I told you that I was very worried about her, and for good reason. Don't you understand? She's reaching out for something that she doesn't understand. She could be hurt very easily.
Why should Burke Devlin want to hurt her?
Why should he want to wreck my brother's car? The only difference between the two of them is the car can be repaired. You're sure about that? All right. Thank you very much.
about it. I'm terribly sorry. I was washing it and it broke.
It can be replaced. I just called the bar. Carolyn left about a half an hour ago.
She's probably on her way home.
I doubt that. She left with Burke Devlin.
Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago with top recording stars performing Where the Fun Is. Come along for a real good time next here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.